I have nothing else to do, so I guess I'm going to record my DSX auxiliary pump install on our LSA Chevy SS. So if you haven't used DSX before, Dave's pretty good. Packing, got the wiring, the fuel pump, the fuel filter, the brackets, the epoxy for the fittings. Pretty good instructions. Drill bit in the tap for the tank. Pre-made fitting line, fuel lines with fittings all done. The adapters to go to the stock lines. Important, make sure your gas tank's not full. I already drove this one to South Carolina yesterday, so I made sure it's pretty much empty now. Helps if you get It's your typical LSA. I got the Glanzer intercooler tank thing, Joker's ported LSA, stock ported throttle body, Z01 rotofab. Already got a hub, but I broke 2 bolts like a Neanderthal, and then drilling the bolts out, the drill bit went sideways and I drilled through the hub, so the hub's getting swapped tomorrow. Stock pulley 295. Car's gone 10.8 at 128 with this setup on pump gas. Already got the DSX flex fuel installed. Just can't run flex fuel since I'm dropping fuel pressure on pump gas. So we'll add the pump and see what you can do on E85. I like to lay everything out, just see what I'm working with, make sure I'm not missing everything or anything. Got the power lines, fuel lines. Where it's gonna plug into the map sensor, where it's gonna get power from. Fuel pump, zip ties, the hanger. If you've never done wiring, coat hanger always comes in handy when running wires. I also forgot to mention, the car's stock head, stock cam, stock long block, stock fuel pump right now. I have fuel injector clinic injectors. Stock CTSV intercooler pump at the moment. I do have the interchiller 10mm lid spacer. Not sure if that helped. I put it on when I put the blower on, and I ran the same exact time in mile per hour and a higher DA that with a 275 pulley as I did with a 2.5 pulley on the stock blower. Nothing special. Stock transmission, stock converter, 83,000 miles. The car's filthy because I just drove it 6 hours yesterday for work. It's my wife's daily driver. That's my fun toy. This video is probably going to suck because I've never YouTubed before. And yes, the wheels are chalked, so the car's not going anywhere. Got it all jacked up. Make sure you put your jacks in a good spot, not up on the pinch welds. So the wires, this is going to run to the map sensor. Map sensor's right here. This ground, it's going to go to this ground nut right here. It's 13mm. Looks like this. Red's gonna be power, obviously. I'll show you where that goes in once everything's plugged up. Like I said, trim tool makes life pretty easy. Nothing really exciting going on. Got all the wires done, got the wires ran. About to go throw this under the car, bolt the pump up. I think I've been going for all 10-15 minutes now, including jacking the car up. If you're like me, double check the instructions so you don't put the bracket on backwards, or try to put it on backwards. And don't forget where you set the bracket. I have a horrible memory, so I'll set something down and completely forget where I put it. Got my little workspace going on down here. When I pulled it off the coat hanger, of course it fell where I couldn't grab it. Stuck my finger in there, wiggled it around, get the bolt started to thread up. That way you can just screw it up and then get it to go where it goes by turning the bolt. As you can see, tighten this one down, that way the bracket doesn't move. Tighten this one down, just finger tight. That way I can unscrew this one, slide the bracket over, and get it going in. It's a little awkward holding a camera, especially when you're not used to this. Once I'm done with everything, I'll go back through. I'll mark the bolts and Loctite them. Just for reference, it's the front tire. Front of the car, header, cat. Right when it opens up, the bolt's right here. The bolts for the fuel pump hanger thing, bracket, 10mm. It's gonna go right there. Dave's also cool enough that, you know, makes this kind of dumb proof. I don't know if you can see that. Positive, negative, already marked. You know, red's usually positive, black's negative. That's how I have them wired. I'm not gonna record this non-stop because, you know, I like music and I don't want YouTube to copyright or whatever and take the sound off my videos. So I'm just gonna randomly pause my music and record this. Had some music or some car videos from like 10 years ago, back before, you know, the whole copyright thing on YouTube. Now they have no sound on them because YouTube did that. And I don't have the original videos anymore, so well, I've never YouTubed in the last 10 years. For me, it was just easier to pull the bracket off and mount the pump than trying to fight with it under the car to mount it. It's torqued to, like, you know, it's tight, but you didn't break the bolt tight. That's usually pretty good for everything on a car. Running the fuel lines now. So the one with 245s, this will go to the filter and to the tap, the sump, I would say, on the pump. The other one with the 45 on one end, that goes down to the tank. That's going to fit into the stock fitting adapter. The 150-degree end goes onto the pump, the front of the pump, where the wires are. Yep. Guess I'll update you guys once this is done. Your fuel lines are going to run into this black plastic thing down here. It's by the passenger side of the tank. It's a couple 10 millimeters. I'm just going to zip that off. Then we'll have to cut this a little bit so the fuel lines fit in there. If your car is anything like mine, you know, 80,000 miles, never been apart. There's two clips, one on each side. Well, two, like front and back side. Just clip it. Might take some prying to get it apart, get separated from the existing lines. Just because, you know, it's never been apart. So you know how those plastic clips go. So you just clip right there and right here. This needs to come off. I just used a little pick. Just popped the sides off, popped it down. Once you pull it down like that, you should be able to pull the fuel line out. Got this one up. It's all connected. When you connect this one to the stock line, you'll know when it's connected. You're gonna have to give it a push and it's gonna snap in there pretty good. Got the other one ran back there. I just gotta drill the tank and tap it and then put the fitting in and it's good to go. I'll hang the lines and clean everything up and it's done. The fitting is gonna go back up here. I already like marked it where I want it to go. Not all the way on the bottom like here, so but a little bit up and back, but still on the bottom so it gets fuel. Also says use an air drill. I don't have an air drill, so we're gonna use an electric drill and hope I don't catch on fire. I'm also gonna clean the metal off or plastic off as I go, so it's not just putting all this in the tank. If you go slower, it's easier. If you just zip it in there all fast, you know, Incredible Hulk CrossFit style, you're gonna get all the plastic up in there. And fuel tanks are pretty thin, so it doesn't take a lot to get through there. So I'm just going slow, just drilling and cleaning as I go. I mean, the bit's brand new. I bought the bit from DSX when I bought the thing, the fuel pump. It's a sharp bit. So it's kind of awkward to drill, at least, you know, on the floor on jack stands when you're tall. I have to say, this install is 100 times easier than doing an in-pump, in-tank pump on a Corvette that's auto, where you have to drop the crank to get to the fuel pump. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's like green and blue up there now. If you have anxiety about growing in your car, take some Valium or something before you do it. I don't know. Doesn't bother me. It's just a car. just like that. Once you're in, there's no need to keep, just yeet the drill and it's putting all this plastic in there. So you feel the lights on, car's jacked up, punch on the ground, no fuel came out, besides the few drops and put the fuel in now. We'll get the tap this, get the adhesive, and good to go. That's all the drill, whatever, filing, trash stuff. There she is. Also, if you buy the tap and drill, it comes marked on the tap. If I get this to focus, it's pre-marked. On the instructions it says just go down here. There's no need to run it all the way down because you're just going to waller out the hole. Then your fitting is not going to seal too well. Got the tap started with my hand. Like I said, the plastic's it's plastic, so getting it going with my hand. You can probably do the whole thing with your hand, honestly. When I'm tapping stuff, I like to go forward, go back a couple, see it's getting all that trash out. You really don't want that in your fuel pump. So I'll show you what I mean. Screw it in a little bit, and then back it out some. You see that trash coming out? I do this when I'm tapping anything, metal, plastic. Go in some, back it out some, get the trash out, go in some. Makes your threads cleaner too. Just makes life easier. This is definitely something you don't want to rush on anything, no matter what the part is. Because if you're tapping it, might as well be good unless you're just going to cross thread it instead of using Loctite on everything. Yeah, look at all this trash. Like if you just go in fast, all that's going into your tank. Yep, I did it all the way with my hand. Like I said, it's slow and meticulous. You can still see some trash just falling out. Just go a few threads in, come a few threads out, pull the trash out. I don't know if everyone will be able to do this by hand. I was. It's not super hard. Go back in again, clean it out. Once again, I'm not left-handed, so sorry. And still getting some trash out of the threads. And that's all she wrote. So where I put it, I'm gonna have to loosen this up a little bit with these 10mm right there and there. That way I can screw this all the way in because it's hitting this. It'll just make life easier. I only took the back one off and loosened the front one, and it's enough where there's plenty of room now to screw this in. There's some of the sealant on there, pushed it in so it's in the fittings. I'll push some more in there while I screw it in. I cut it right there, cut over here, so hopefully it fits now. Well, that's it, it's done. I used all the extra sealant and just put it around that because, don't want it to leak. And I'm just paranoid like that. So it looks like I had some arts and crafts up there. Zip tied the fuel lines. Got everything tightened. My screen just turned off. It's honestly one of the easiest installs I've ever done. Anyone who's kind of a little bit mechanically inclined could do this in 2 hours tops. I did it in a little less than an hour with me having to record stuff, and the only tools you need is a 10mm, a drill, a 13mm, and a coat hanger. Pretty sure that's all you need. Oh, and some wire snips or something to cut this little plastic thing. I just gotta go cut the zip ties and it's done. It's all done. Another thing, make sure you tighten the power cables and the ground on the fuel pump. I didn't do that. I remembered as I was picking up the tools, it's 8mm for the bolts, nuts, things, whatever it is. All I gotta do is cut the zip ties now, and it's good to go.